Have you ever felt trapped, surrounded by the enemies of fear, doubt, or even physical dangers, with no way out? Imagine a prayer so powerful, so deeply rooted in divine protection, that it acts like a shield against every attack you face. Psalm 50 offers just that, a promise of total protection and victory, even in the darkest moments. It's not about simply asking for help. It's about declaring your victory over enemy traps and knowing that God, as your just judge, is on your side. This prayer invites you to step into a divine covering, where the traps set against you can't touch you. Ready to learn how to unlock that level of protection in your life? Let's dive into the power of Psalm 50 and discover how you can walk in complete victory over any force that tries to stand in your way. When we dive into Psalm 50, we immediately feel the deep, urgent cry for protection. It's a raw, heart-wrenching plea to God, asking for his divine intervention. The psalmist is aware of the traps that are set around them by the forces of evil, but they know that God alone has the power to rescue them. This isn't a casual request, but a passionate call to be saved from harm, a reminder that when we're in trouble, our first step should be to turn to God in prayer. Imagine yourself in a situation where you feel completely surrounded, like you're trapped in a situation you can't escape. It could be financial difficulties, emotional burdens, or spiritual attacks. That's when Psalm 50 comes alive in our lives. The psalmist's cry echoes, "God, please save me." It's in moments like these that we can lean on God's promise of protection and deliverance, knowing that he hears the heartfelt prayers of his people. The angels of heaven stand ready to assist, as they always do for those who call on the Lord. But what does it mean to call on God for urgent rescue? It's not just about saying a quick prayer in passing. It's about recognizing that God is our refuge, and he sees the unseen. In these moments, we also need to remember that God is not distant. He is right there, listening. His justice and his mercy work together, bringing about victory even when we feel defeated. As we pray, we tap into a well of divine power, calling on God to intervene and rescue us from the traps that seek to destroy us. This prayer is an invitation for God to take charge. When you truly understand the nature of God as a just judge, everything changes. You realize that nothing is hidden from his sight, not our thoughts, our fears, or our deepest intentions. God sees everything. This awareness brings both comfort and responsibility. In times of trouble, it's reassuring to know that God's judgment is perfect because he sees us as we truly are. The angels stand as witnesses to his faithfulness, reminding us that his justice doesn't fail, no matter the circumstances. In life, we often face situations where we feel misunderstood or misjudged by others. It's easy to get frustrated, especially when others don't see our hearts. But here's the thing, God does. He sees not only our actions, but the very motivations behind them. When you turn to him in prayer, you're calling on a judge who doesn't rely on surface-level judgments. He knows your heart, and he'll act in your favor according to his perfect wisdom and justice. And that's why it's essential to trust in him fully. Now, consider the concept of refuge. In the world, we often seek safety in things or people, but true refuge, true safety, comes from God alone. When life becomes overwhelming, when we feel exposed to attacks from all sides, it's God who offers the ultimate protection. Think of him as your fortress, a place where no harm can reach you. The angels act as God's messengers, offering protection as you call on him for refuge. God's faithfulness will never let you down. His protection is constant. There comes a moment in every believer's life when they must make a conscious decision to place their trust in God above all else. It's easy to get caught up in relying on worldly possessions, personal abilities, or the strategies that others tell us will work. But the psalmist in Psalm 50 teaches us that true trust is found in God alone. No amount of wealth, human strength, or worldly wisdom can compare to the security we find in the hands of our Creator. It's this unwavering trust that sets us free. It's almost like when you're driving and you come to an intersection. You have a choice. Follow the usual route that seems easiest, or trust that the detour God is guiding you on will lead to something better. Just like this, we often face choices where the easy path seems like the right one, but God is asking us to trust him, even when the path doesn't make sense. Trusting in him means surrendering control, and this act of faith is where miracles happen. The angels are there to guide us, reminding us that our steps are ordered when we trust God fully. Imagine, for a moment, a person standing in the middle of a storm, eyes closed, hands raised, with total trust that God will see them through. This is the declaration of faith we must embrace. It's not about having all the answers or all the resources. It's about knowing that God's plan is greater than anything we could ever imagine. We don't need to rely on the material things around us or the fleeting powers of the world. Instead, we choose to place our faith in God's eternal strength, which is unshakable, even in the toughest times. In Psalm 50, there is a bold declaration that no force, whether it be the whispers of enemies or outright attacks, can triumph over those who are covered by God's protection. It's a powerful reminder that when we are aligned with God, we stand in victory, no matter what opposition may arise. Even when the enemy tries to launch verbal attacks, project negativity, or persecute, we can be confident that God's angels surround us, guarding us from all harm. This is not just wishful thinking. It is the promise of God's protection for those who seek refuge in Him. Consider the power of words. We've all heard those hurtful comments or discouraging words that people throw at us, sometimes in an attempt to tear us down. It's in these moments that Psalm 50 offers a life-changing perspective. No negative word, no attack, can stand against us if we are under God's divine protection. His angels are sent to guard us, and no weapon formed against us will prosper. This isn't just a nice thought. It's the truth we can cling to when faced with opposition, knowing that God fights on our behalf. You see, the battle is not ours to fight. When we pray for victory, we're inviting God to be our protector and warrior. The angels stand beside us, executing God's will in the spiritual realm. The enemy's attacks may be real, but so is God's divine protection. When we are under His care, no evil force, be it spiritual, emotional, or physical, can defeat us. And it is through this divine protection that we experience true victory, the kind that lasts beyond the battles and the struggles. Gratitude is often spoken about, but rarely understood in its full depth. Psalm 50 teaches us that true thankfulness goes beyond just saying thank you when things are going well. It's about recognizing that every blessing, whether abundant or modest, comes from God. Even in times of hardship, when we feel as though we lack, the psalmist reminds us that God's provision is constant. Everything we have, down to the breath in our lungs, is a gift from Him. This mindset transforms how we view the world, and it brings a peace that passes understanding. Think about it. In moments of scarcity, it can be easy to focus on what we don't have, especially when the world seems to measure success by wealth or material possessions. But Psalm 50 encourages a shift in focus. When we look at life through the lens of gratitude, we begin to see the countless blessings we often overlook. Even if we don't have everything we want, we have what we need, and that's enough. This realization opens our hearts to receive even more from God, trusting that He will always provide in His perfect timing. This is where the angels come in, too. They are messengers of God's provision and caretakers of His promises. When we recognize the blessings in our lives, whether big or small, we acknowledge the divine forces at work, and it's through this recognition that our faith grows stronger. Gratitude isn't just about feeling thankful. It's about seeing God's hand in everything, from the food on our table to the air we breathe. Everything is a provision from a loving Father who never abandons His children. In the midst of life's trials, we often find ourselves yearning for spiritual renewal. It's during the hard times, the moments when we feel drained and disconnected, that the prayer in Psalm 50 shines a light. The psalmist calls out for renewed strength, a boldness and faith that will carry them through every desert, every dry season. It's not just about surviving, but about thriving in God's strength, knowing that our faith can withstand even the toughest spiritual battles. Just as a plant draws strength from the soil, so too can we draw strength from God in the midst of our struggles. Imagine facing a desert in your life, where it feels like your spiritual life is barren. There are no lush green fields or overflowing rivers, only dryness and dust. It's in these moments that the prayer of Psalm 50 becomes crucial. It's a plea for God's strength to renew our spirits, to infuse us with energy and determination to continue moving forward. The angels, ever present, help carry our burdens, ensuring that we are not walking this path alone. We may be in the desert, but God's presence is what sustains us. But spiritual renewal isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process of tapping into God's power daily. It's about waking up every morning with the confidence that our faith is unshakable, no matter what comes our way. Life will present challenges, but with renewed strength and a solid foundation in God, we can face them with boldness. This isn't about relying on our own strength. It's about leaning into God's endless supply. Through His provision and the guidance of His angels, we are empowered to persevere. Healing is one of the most powerful prayers we can utter. Psalm 50 not only calls for physical restoration, but also emotional and spiritual healing. This prayer isn't just about recovering from physical ailments. It's a deep request for God to heal the wounds we carry in our hearts and minds. Think of it as asking God to remove the emotional scars, the past hurts, and the spiritual chains that have held us captive. It's an invitation to be freed from everything that has kept us from experiencing the fullness of life. In the hustle of life, it's easy to overlook the emotional baggage we carry. We might look fine on the outside, but deep inside, there's a weight we're constantly carrying. Psalm 50 invites us to release that burden. Imagine walking through life free from the weight of anger, resentment, fear, or guilt. When we pray for healing, we're asking for freedom from these emotional chains. The angels, messengers of God's healing, surround us, helping us break free from the oppression that weighs on our souls. It's about embracing the peace that God offers. Emotional healing doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. Sometimes, it requires us to confront painful memories and allow God's healing touch to restore what was broken. But once we invite God into our pain, the healing process begins. It's like letting the light of God shine into the dark corners of our hearts, bringing freedom and renewal. Through His power, we can be freed from past wounds, leaving them behind and stepping into the peace and joy that He promises. This freedom is available to all who ask, and the angels are there to guide us every step of the way. Psalm 50 brings a clear and profound message. God isn't interested in empty rituals or superficial gestures. He's not impressed by our outward actions if our hearts are not aligned with Him. It's the sincerity of our hearts that matters most. This is a powerful reminder that our faith must be lived authentically, not just performed for others to see. The psalmist calls us to examine our hearts, to live a life of righteousness, and to be true in our commitment to God. It's about giving God our genuine devotion, not just religious performance. Consider this. Many people go through the motions of religion, attending services, offering prayers, but their hearts are far from God. Psalm 50 challenges us to be honest in our relationship with Him. God sees through the facade, and He desires true devotion. The prayer in this psalm isn't just a request for protection or provision. It's an invitation to live with integrity, to live in a way that pleases God, and to offer our lives as a true reflection of His love. This is the kind of faith that moves mountains and brings blessings. When we live with a sincere heart and true faith, we invite God's presence into our lives in a profound way. He promises to deliver us from all trouble, to protect us from all harm, and to guide us in every decision we make. The angels are God's messengers, helping us align with His will and guiding us through life's challenges. But it all starts with a heart that is fully surrendered to God, living in accordance with His will. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real and committed. Are you ready to embrace the total protection and victory that God promises through Psalm 50? Imagine walking each day knowing that no enemy, no trap, no force of darkness can overcome you when you stand firm in His strength. The key is in the sincerity of your heart, the commitment to live a righteous life, and the boldness to trust in God's provision, no matter what challenges you face. This isn't just a prayer. It's a declaration of faith that God will deliver you, protect you, and guide you through every trial. Think about the areas of your life where you feel most vulnerable. How would it feel to experience God's unshakable protection there? How can you incorporate this powerful prayer into your daily life to transform your struggles into victories? Don't just read these words. Take them to heart, pray them with sincerity, and watch as God works in ways you never imagined. If you found this message impactful, make sure to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and continue your journey toward divine protection and victory. Share this with those who need to hear it, and let's grow together in faith.